Hello everyone, I'm Pushkar Pradhan. I'm representing EcoSense Enviro Solutions. We are a waste management company providing environmental solutions using digital technology. Welcome to Singapore FinTech Festival 2020 and thank you Inspire for hosting us in your building. Today I'm going to be talking about the topic on digitization in waste management from a collection transportation perspective and how Industry 4.0 plays a big role in terms of how waste is going to be managed in the future. Let me set a context over here. We talk about waste in plastics in ocean. We talk about climate change. We talk about plastic seeping into our food chain and our rivers being clogged by the waste produced by all the cities around. All these are very relevant things. And these are something which is going to be affecting our future generations as well till the time we don't really take immediate action. We are And that's what brings me to the Sustainability Development Goals that United Nations has published. And we are looking at 17 of these where we could make an impact based on the solutions that we are going to be putting forward. Let me talk about, give a brief overview in terms of how the United Nations grouping by economic development are. And you will see that a lot of countries world over, which are either developing economies or in process of transition or even low developed countries. And these countries form a big chunk of the entire world area. And looking at that from an economic perspective, yes, there are certain countries which are like well developed, and there are certain countries which are still in the transition phase, which is where you'll see that a lot of the countries which are still in the transition phase are in the Asia Pacific region, which are either developing, there are still low income countries also in there. The world population trends, of course, are not completely aligned with the type of growth that happens. You have China and India, which are forming the bigger chunk of the world population, and all other countries having a certain contributing factor towards the population in the region. But one of the key things to note over here is that Asia contributes to almost 60% of the world population, and that's quite huge. Second, Africa, 20% almost. But if you look at that in the context of the GDP growth that has happened, and at the same time how these countries are moving from an economic transition perspective, you will understand why this is very important now. Let's talk about waste. That's what we are here for, right? Talking about sustainability. So regional waste generation and looking at the trend coming in from 2016 all the way till 2050, here's the forecast that was published by World Bank in the Economist magazine. So here you'll see that there is a certain level of growth. Of course, from 2016 to 2030 to 2050, all the regions in the world are going to have an increase in the term of in the waste that is going to be generated. But look at the waste that is generated in East Asia Pacific and the Southeast Asia. And also, I think in the Latin American region, you'll see that there is going to be quite a huge percentage increase in terms of the waste generated over here. And that's very important to note because these countries are the ones that are now having a huge population. They are also low on the GDP growth, or maybe in the transition of becoming big economies. And this particular chart published by the World Bank in the Waste 2.0 report clearly indicates that we have projected waste generation by million tons per year, and then we also have the waste collection rates. So look at the waste collection rates when we talk about low income compared to the high income, there is a huge difference. So of course, high income countries have the money, they have the probably the less population, and the coverage is quite high, almost 96%, even though not 100%, but it's still quite a healthy number. But look at the collection rates between low income, the lower middle income, and the upper middle income countries. The percentage might quite look good in the upper middle income, but let me tell you very clearly that if you look at the waste that is generated in each of these regions, it's this even this small difference of 18% creates a huge difference. And low income, I don't think I need to say anything because the numbers just speak for themselves. So why is this all relevant, right? We need to look at it coming back to my initial point when I was trying to set the context of the waste going into the sea or plastics in our ocean and things like that, all of this actually becomes a contributing factor. Why? Because when we look at waste management, we look at the five different pillars of it, which constitute the main waste management industry. You have your collection, you have your transportation, segregation, processing, and then disposal. But let's say if you look at this in the supply chain context, if your collection transportation is not great, then you might not be able to segregate that much. You won't be able to recycle that much, and you won't be able to. You'll have much more waste going to the landfill. But again, not every landfill is a landfill. There are certain sanitary landfills that get formed. There are open spots that get created because of this lack in infrastructure, lack in service that is provided. And from that context, collection and transportation is really a very important aspect of it. Let me also point out a few quick things over here. Collection transportation is not only important from a perspective of being able to collect the waste and transporting it, but we also need to look at it from a point of view that there is no data available here, right? When we say data, there is no waste characterization happening. There is no information about how your collection agencies are operating. There is no benchmarking. And this in itself is something which is going to be a failing system because it's as the population grows, as the demand for the waste management increases, this is something which will not be able to cater to it if we are not able to make those changes right now. And the changes I mean is by bringing in digitization or tapping into the new technologies that are currently available. Another example, WTE plants, the waste to energy plants. A lot of the countries are now going for waste to energy plants, but have you ever thought that in Asia region, a lot of the other regions, right, we have a lot of organic waste that comes in. So when you set up a waste plant of let's say 250 megawatt, but if your waste coming in is going to be higher in composition, almost 65-70% of the waste is going to be organic. That means you'll have to dry that waste first, spend the energy, of course, to dry the waste, and then convert that into another form of energy, which in itself might work to some extent in terms of like reducing the volume of the waste, or even in terms of saying that okay, we will generate some waste, some energy out of it. But in the real context, it's not really very effective. The another thing that happens is that sometimes the projections are such that the WT plant says that okay, I'm going to set up for 250 megawatt, but the waste that comes, the volume of the waste that comes is only useful for 150 megawatt plant. So what has happened is that your 100 megawatt plant capacity is going to lie idle. There are a lot of case studies around in Asia Pacific and other regions of the world where WT plants do not sustain financially, and hence they are not viable in a lot of ways because of this reason. So then we come to the problem statement here. Our problem statement is going to be more in terms of low compliances, hence low recycling rates. We have manual operations being there. There is lack of real-time data and insights, which is leading to low lack of quality control. We do not know what we benchmark against. And finally, the important one also is on the absence of an integrated solution, because all the solutions are operating in a silo. You have vehicle tracking, you have let's say workforce management, you have something IoT sensors for RFIDs and stuff like that. But are these working together? Is there a cohesive and integrated platform available? And that's exactly where the other things come in, that how do you leverage the platform and the technologies to be able to use it in a context that is going to be making a difference in the operations and bringing in efficiencies. So yeah, from EcoSense perspective, what do we offer? We are looking at tackling some of these problems that I listed earlier. We are providing a one-stop platform solution, which is integrated. It's a SaaS model in the cloud, and it's an open source API. When I say an open source API, what it means is that we have the base platform, and let's say if anyone wants to be able to make any customizations to it, it's quite versatile. It's quite flexible in terms of allowing you to make those changes. At the same time, let's say someone has a solution available somewhere, right? Like you are using a vehicle tracking or you're using some other data collection thing. What we provide is being able to integrate into all of those platforms, collect the data, and provide the analytics around it using our AI and ML modeling, because we are coming up with constant upgradation and evolving on our AI ML algorithm models. This is with the understanding that we want to be able to build more data insights and come up with more analytics on that. On the product perspective, we are offering smart bin solutions for bin fill monitoring, as well as looking at now automation, which is something which is automation in the waste sorting part, which one of the area that is currently in development and should be launched sometime in next year. Quickly talking about some of the salient features that our platform offers is that we look at everything in terms of a context of a project. We do not offer any silo-based solution, but at the same time, even if you have a solution available, we know that there could be something that is there, so that can also be integrated. So assets monitoring, maintenance, your planning operations, bringing in optimization in terms of how you deploy your resources, your route planning, route optimization is another thing that comes in. There is integration with mobile apps. So of course, we know that the mobile penetration is quite a lot world over, and mobile apps is the main thing that we'll be looking at how we integrate the operations team with the back office team. IoT, there's no taking away. IoT is going to be one of the key area that is changing the way we are operating. Like we use IoT integration for in a lot of ways, right? You have QR codes, you have RFIDs that are used, you have GPS devices, you have biometric devices that will be there. Uh, User pay collection, because a lot of countries are also looking at user fee collection model or PAYT models, like pay as you throw. It all depends on how much waste you're generating, and then we can come up with a model of how much is going to be charged to that particular generator of waste. So all of these things come together. Our other objective is also looking at waste characterization, because we are looking at material tracking, and this is where we would leverage some of our current algorithms to be able to help out in, let's say, meeting your EPR responsibilities to some extent, right? And all of these now comes together through our analytics and what we publish onto our SCADA dashboard. The SCADA dashboard is quite an intelligent, intuitive dashboard. It helps the user to understand what is the context, what is the type of waste that is there, what are the decision points that to be made, and it's more action oriented in a lot of ways. From a benefits perspective, of course, businesses and cities are going to be benefiting in terms of getting a 360-degree overview. They will be able to do their waste composition analysis in a better way. And we are looking at real ROI savings here, right? So we some of our studies indicate that we can actually go for 10 to 15% of our ROI savings in terms of operational costs and things like that. Some information on the product screenshots, just to give you an overview of these are some of the product screenshots. Of course, our products are evolving all the time based on the feedback that we receive from customers, such as whoever will be signing up, and we really hope that we are able to, like, work together, understand what type of requirements might be, and help you in meeting your goals as well. From a technical architecture perspective, and I know this is might be a bit technical, but let me just talk about it very briefly, is that we support different applications from iOS, Android, web application. Our main integration points is in terms of providing this platform for uh, IoT integration, and also in terms of a leveraging platform for any future developments that have to be done, because it's quite flexible, it's quite versatile, and it's quite scalable in a lot of ways, right? It's a multi-tenant platform. We really are looking at being able to manage multiple tenants on the same platform using different components of this, of the technologies available. So yeah, let me just summarize quickly in terms of what we mean by the data-driven decision making, where we look at all of these inputs coming in through our IoT, through different sources like your GPS devices, data entry on the web portals and stuff like that, and churning it through our proprietary analytics platform, and then bringing it out in a more action-oriented way for either route optimization or even for manpower optimization, your resource optimization, bringing in efficiency in your operations, and also able to give you a 360-degree overview in terms of what and where is the problem or the bottleneck, so that you can take corrective actions on that. We feel that at EcoSense, this is quite something which is going to be helpful. We work with on the ground level. We work with the operations team to understand how they are managing the operations. We also do consulting in terms of how the operations can be made better, because based on our feedback or our learnings from other clients, we bring that to the fore, and then we uh, partner with the waste management company in a lot of ways. So let me also put it in context that we are not a purely IT company. Yeah, we are a waste management company. We are part of the group here. We are part of the environmental solutions team. we are fully focused on sustainability. Our products are not generic; they are very focused, they are very specific onto the environmental area, because we really want to make a difference, and we hope that we are able to partner and work together in terms of making a difference and leaving the world a better place for, of course, hopefully within our generation, but definitely for our future generations as well. So thank you for listening to me, and yeah, hope to connect with some of you. Thank you.